The hollow click of the lock echoed through the dim hallway, like a cruel punctuation mark to my emptiness. The house was quiet again, too quiet. Amelia wasn't home. Book club, she'd said earlier, a light smile brushing her lips. But even that smile felt borrowed, foreign. Lately, everything about her seemed off. The way she recoiled ever so slightly when I reached for her hand. The hushed phone calls, always taken behind closed doors. The unfamiliar perfume she claimed was from a friend. I wasn't stupid. My instincts had begun to scream louder with each passing day, drowning out the hope I desperately clung to. I poured myself a whiskey neat. The amber liquid sloshed softly in the glass, a storm swirling inside the crystal that matched the unrest within me. I wandered to the mantelpiece, picked up our wedding photo. A younger version of us smiled back, radiant with dreams and trust. I stared at that photo for a long moment, as if I could will myself back into that time before the cracks began to show. Had it all been real, or had I simply been blind? 2 weeks ago, I reached my breaking point. I'd hired a private investigator named Vic Ruff around the edges, discreet, and highly recommended by a friend who'd been cheated on. Vic didn't ask questions beyond the necessary. His services weren't cheap, and the dent it left in our joint account stung. But I told myself it was an investment, not in revenge, not even in closure, but in truth. The raw, brutal truth. Today, that truth had finally arrived. The doorbell rang, jolting me from my thoughts. I opened the door to find Vic, standing there, with a grim expression and a manila envelope clutched in his hand. He didn't speak, just handed it to me like a doctor delivering a terminal diagnosis. I nodded, thanked him, and closed the door behind me. My hands trembled as I broke the seal. Inside were photos. Amelia, my wife, the woman I had loved, trusted, defended for 15 years, was wrapped around another man like she used to wrap around me, kissing him, holding hands, entering a hotel, and not just once, multiple times. Different days, different lies. It wasn't someone I recognized, which somehow made it worse. A stranger. A faceless thief robbing me of something sacred. The report laid it all out with surgical precision. Dates, times, call logs, text messages dripping with sweetness that made my skin crawl. Every book club meeting, every overtime excuse, every sudden interest in yoga perfectly matched a meeting with him. My mind reeled. My chest ached. I wanted to scream, throw the whiskey glass into the wall, smash something until the pain in my chest found its echo in the world around me. But instead, I went still. A cold, calculated calm settled in ice water over a flame. I wouldn't scream. I wouldn't break. I'd endured 15 years of love, and now I would survive the betrayal too. Quietly, precisely, on my terms. The next few days passed in a blur of phone calls, document gathering, and steel-eyed focus. I contacted a lawyer, filed for divorce, pulled my half of the money from our joint accounts, and placed it in a new one under my name only. I made copies of everything, every photo, every message, every receipt of her lies. I packed a single bag, booked a hotel room not too far from home, left her a note, short and direct. We need to talk. When she returned that evening, she found me sitting on the couch, duffel bag packed, the envelope in my lap. Her heels clicked nervously on the floor as she entered, and when she saw the bag, the note, the look on my face, she went pale. David, she asked, her voice trembling like a child caught red-handed. What's going on? I didn't speak at first, just held up the envelope. Book club was interesting this week, wasn't it? Her face drained of color, like blood fleeing a sinking ship. She stuttered, fumbled for an excuse. Her mouth moved, but nothing coherent came out. I placed the photos on the table one by one, slowly, methodically. Her eyes widened with each one. Her hands began to shake. Who is he? I asked. My voice low, steel wrapped in velvet. Tears spilled down her cheeks. It just happened, David. It didn't mean anything. I didn't mean anything. I cut in, the words laced with venom. 15 years, Amelia. You lied to my face. Every night you came home to me smelling like someone else. You looked me in the eye and pretended to love me. You destroyed everything we built. She dropped to her knees, sobbing, pleading with me to forgive her, promising it was over, that it was a mistake. But there was no room left in my heart for mercy. Only ashes and silence where love used to live. The next morning, I paid a visit to the man in the photos. He was a junior executive at a rival firm, young, smug, and stupid. He didn't expect me to find him, didn't expect me to show up at his office. He tried to play it off, that it wasn't serious, that he didn't even know she was married. I didn't lay a hand on him. I didn't need to. I spoke, that's all. Quiet words, razor sharp. I exposed his weakness, dissected his cowardice, stripped away his arrogance like bark from a rotten tree. By the end, he looked smaller, ashamed, afraid. His hands trembled. As he told me to leave, I did, knowing I had left scars. He couldn't hide behind a suit and tie soon. Everyone knew. The story spread like wildfire. Amelia became a shadow in our social circle. Friends she once gossiped with now avoided her, like a bad smell. The same people she bragged to about her yoga glow whispered behind her back. The judgment in their eyes followed her to the grocery store, the coffee shop, the office. Her career suffered. Her credibility shattered. The divorce dragged on. She tried to fight it at first. Then she tried to bargain, beg, blame, but none of it worked. In the end, I walked away with the house, the accounts, and most importantly, my dignity. She got nothing, not even him. Her lover had disappeared. The moment the fallout began, cutting ties and pretending he never knew her. The pain didn't vanish overnight. Some nights, I still woke up reaching for her, forgetting she wasn't there. The ache lingered. But over time, the sharpness dulled. I threw myself into work, took up photography again, reconnected with old friends, found moments of joy in places I hadn't noticed in years. And then, one evening, it happened. I was having dinner with a friend at a cozy restaurant downtown when I saw her. Amelia. She was sitting alone at a corner table. Her hair was pulled back tight, her face thinner, tired, faded. The sparkle in her eyes, the one I used to fall in love with, was gone. Just like the life we once had. She saw me. Our eyes met. Hers filled with something hollow, shame, regret, maybe even longing. I held her gaze for a second, just long enough for her to know I wasn't broken anymore. Then I turned back to my friend, raised my glass, and smiled, truly smiled for the first time in what felt like forever. I had survived her storm, and I had found peace. And sometimes, the quiet dignity of moving on is the most brutal revenge of all.